You know that feeling, right? Information overload. Trying to stay genuinely informed feels like, well, a full-time job sometimes. That's really why we started the deep dive. It's meant to be your shortcut, packed with insights, maybe some surprising facts, but still engaging. Today, we're diving deep into something pretty cutting edge. Walmart Unlimited. Imagine this. You're deep in an immersive 3D game, right? Exploring this really vibrant world, just totally lost in it.
Yeah, completely absorbed.
And then, bam, you stumble on this secret shop hidden right there in the game.
Okay.
But here's the kicker. It lets you buy actual real-world stuff, products delivered right to your door from inside the game.
Wow, okay. That sounds pretty futuristic. Almost like science fiction.
Right, but here's the thing. It's not just about, making shopping easier.
There's more to it.
Yeah, it's about changing how we even think about retail. It's turning that purchase into, part of the story you're already in.
Ah, I see. So the transaction becomes an experience itself.
Exactly. And today, we're going to dive deep into something very real that does just that. Walmart Unlimited.
Okay, Walmart Unlimited. I've heard a bit about this.
It's this groundbreaking, cross-platform, 3D immersive experience. And we're really focusing today on Propagation House.
Right, they were key players, weren't they?
Absolutely. They created the first ever shoppable commerce hub on spatial.io, specifically for this Walmart project. Really innovative stuff.
And it's fascinating, seeing a huge company like Walmart, a Fortune 50 company, stepping up and leading the charge like this.
Totally.
Merging entertainment and commerce in a way that honestly feels pretty new. It sets a precedent.
That's exactly why we want to do this deep dive. Our mission today is to unpack how they did it, how it all came together.
And what it signals for the future, right?
Yeah.
For shopping, for how brands connect with us.
Precisely. You're going to see how those lines between gaming, telling stories, and actually buying things are just, they're blurring completely.
Creating a whole new standard for these kinds of immersive experiences.
Yeah. Let's get into it. So just to start, what exactly is Walmart Unlimited? For listeners who might not know, it's more than just a game, you said.
Yeah, definitely more than just a game. At its core, Walmart Unlimited is this three-part story. Think of it as a cross-platform 3D immersive experience. It sits alongside a bigger narrative, features some really cool brands, creator cameos, and importantly, it has this message about finding your power, your voice.
Interesting.
And the design is really intentional. It makes the commerce, the shopping part, feel like it just naturally belongs within that story. It's not jarring.
And the collaborators, Walmart, Martian Blueberry, Pigiama Kasama, Spatial.io, that's quite a lineup.
It really is an all-star team, like you said.
But getting all those big names with their own, creative styles to work together on something so ambitious, that can't have been easy. How did they make that work?
That's a great question. It wasn't just about getting big names in a room. The secret sauce, if you will, was this shared vision, a commitment to the story.
Yeah.
Every partner knew the commerce had to feel organic. So Martian Blueberry, for example, they brought their amazing storytelling skills, from the Boondocks.
Right, yeah.
They made sure each episode told a really engaging story with distinct characters, distinct brands woven in. So the brand integration felt, seamless, not forced.
Can you give us a quick peek at those episodes, the characters and brands involved?
Sure. Episode 1, you follow a character named Milo. He's voiced by Michael Blackstone, the founder of PHSDS.
Okay.
And his story involves the A Dozen Cousins brand. The founder, Ibrahim Bazir, even voices his own part. It's all tied into Milo's journey of self-expression.
So less of a direct sales pitch?
Exactly. More like a shared story. Then episode 2 features Raya, played by Hawa Camara, and the Luna Magagic brand, with founder Sharia involved.
Gotcha.
And episode 3 has Jabari, voiced by Travis Rice, exploring the world of Young Kings Haircare. Each one is unique.
That really does sound like an industry first, especially for a Fortune 50 company taking this kind of narrative approach.
It absolutely is.
You mentioned earlier branding by association and adaptive retail. Can you quickly break those down for us? What do they mean in this context?
Yeah, sure. So branding by association is basically about the positive feelings, the emotional connection you get from the story and characters.
Right.
Transferring naturally over to the brands featured within that story.
Exactly.
It's building affinity,
Yeah.
not just, shouting the brand name.
Makes sense. And adaptive retail?
Adaptive retail means the shopping experience itself isn't static. It flexes. It changes based on how you interact with it, based on the story. It's dynamic, not just a flat online catalog.
Okay.
It really shows how these big companies are thinking about moving into deeper, more engaging 3D experiences.
And enabling that, especially the shopping part, really came down to Propagation House, didn't it? What was their specific groundbreaking piece here?
Yeah, Propagation House played a absolutely critical role. Their unique contribution was building the first shoppable commerce hub on spatial.io, period.
The very first one.
The first one. This was the essential bridge, connecting Milo's game journey with the ability to actually buy things.
Okay.
Their big insight was that discovering products shouldn't pull you out of the experience. It needed to feel like a natural next step, maybe even something you looked forward to after finishing a part of the story.
So they worked closely with the game devs, Pigiama Kasama.
Directly alongside them, yeah, to craft that whole environment you enter after the game part.
So the Foundation was really pioneering this whole integration, building something brand new for spatial. What were some of the big hurdles, technically or design-wise?
Well, pioneering is the right word. It wasn't just about the tech working. It was about creating a blueprint, something others could potentially follow.
Right, setting a standard.
Exactly. This included what they called narrative extension, designing the shop spaces so they felt like they genuinely grew out of Milo's Brooklyn world.
Keeping that story going.
Right. Maintaining the vibe, the continuity, while gently bringing in the shopping. And technically, yeah, they push boundaries. Spatial runs on WebGL.
That's the web graphics tech.
Yeah, lets these amazing 3D worlds run right in your browser. They had to push what WebGL could do to create these really interactive product displays that still felt immersive, even if you weren't on a super high-end computer.
And when you talk about a new paradigm in communication, sometimes that sounds like buzzwords, but here it feels real.
It really is. It's a total rethink. Instead of clicking off to a separate store, Propagation House wove everything together.
Product visibility, the story, the buying, all one thing.
All one continuous flow. It goes way beyond standard e-commerce, but somehow it still feels really natural and easy to use even if you're new to this kind of thing.
That whole idea of the Commerce Hub being an earned destination is really interesting too. You don't just land there. You unlock it after finishing Milo's story.
Yeah.
What was the thinking there? What effect were they going for?
It's clever psychology, really.
Yeah.
Making it earned taps into that feeling of accomplishment.
Okay.
You've put time into the story, you've succeeded, and now you get this reward. Access to more of this world you're enjoying.
Ah, so it shifts your mindset.
Exactly. It feels less like I'm being marketed to and more like, oh, cool, I get to explore this related space now.
Yeah.
It makes shopping feel like a natural continuation, a bonus even.
And visually, they had to maintain that connection, right? Keep the game's feel, but also signal you're in a slightly different zone.
Precisely. Visual continuity was crucial. They kept the core aesthetic, the overall style.
Oh, well, it tweaked it.
Yeah, they gave the shopping area this distinct Brooklyn industrial vibe. More plants, different textures, specific lighting, signage. The way the space was laid out felt a bit more structured.
Familiar but new.
Exactly. You knew you were somewhere related, but definitely a different part of the experience focused on the brands.
It's often those little details, isn't it? Sometimes these 3D worlds can feel a bit sterile, cold.
They absolutely can. And it sounds like Propagation House deliberately worked against that.
Tell me about how they tried to breathe life into that space. What kind of things did they do?
Oh, they put a lot of effort into this. We're talking dynamic lighting that changes, subtle background sound, ambient soundscapes,
Right.
animated elements like doves flying past, little things like light beams coming through windows, catching tiny bits of floating dust.
Wow, that detailed.
Yeah. It sounds small, but it adds up to create this real richness, a feeling of presence. It helps you buy into the world, suspend your disbelief.
Oh, it doesn't feel like just a digital shop front.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It feels like a living place. It really counters that expectation of a futuristic, maybe sterile 3D environment.
And I love this idea of hand-drawn details, adding unique textures, making things feel human.
Me too. It's about injecting personality, right? Craftsmanship.
Like that example of adding Dopey Coffee's Ethiopian drip onto a hand-drawn chalkboard menu for a dozen cousins.
Exactly that kind of thing. It makes the assets feel unique, grounded, part of the story, not just generic digital objects.
It feels authentic.
It does. And they took that further by expanding a dozen cousins test kitchen idea into a whole explorable part of Milo's journey.
So you could dive deeper into the brand's world.
Yeah, through the spatial design, the way things were presented, you felt rewarded for exploring. You learned more about the brand almost organically.
That's a huge shift from just, sticking a product on a virtual shelf.
Absolutely. It moves way beyond traditional product placement into this immersive brand experience that feels alive. A real, like you said, visual and cultural breath of fresh air.
Okay, so we've got the vision, the design thinking, really impressive stuff. But how did Propagation House actually build this? Let's talk tech stack.
Right, the tools behind the magic.
What were they using to bring this virtual world and the shoppable hub to life?
Okay, so first up, they use Gravity Sketch.
Gravity Sketch.
Yeah, it's this really intuitive design platform that works in VR and XR, virtual and extended reality.
So designers are actually in VR sculpting the world.
Kind of, yeah. They can sculpt 3D buildings, objects, directly in that virtual space using headsets and controllers. It's very hands-on, almost like digital clay.
That sounds amazing for quickly trying out ideas.
Exactly. It really speeds up building the world and iterating on designs, especially for complex spaces like these.
Okay, so Gravity Sketch for the initial shaping. What next?
Then they brought those concepts into Blender.
Ah, Blender, the open source 3D tool.
The very same. It's incredibly powerful. They use Blender for all the detailed work, refining the 3D models, creating textures, getting everything optimized so it would run smoothly online.
Making sure all the custom assets looked great and fit together.
Precisely. Ensuring seamless integration into the final experience.
So you've got the sculpted world, the detailed assets. How do you put it all together and get it working online, inside Spatial? What was the glue?
That's where Unity comes in, combined with the Spatial SDK.
Okay, Unity, the game engine.
Right. Unity acted as the, let's call it the main workshop. Everything got imported there, the models, textures, lighting. They laid it all out, set up the interactions.
Gotcha. And the Spatial SDK part. SDK is Software Development Kit.
Yep. The Spatial SDK is like a specialized tool set or maybe a translator. It takes everything built in Unity
All that complex 3D stuff.
and optimizes it specifically for the Spatial.io platform. You make sure the whole experience runs efficiently and looks great right in a web browser, whether you're using a VR headset, a laptop, or even your phone.
That's crucial for accessibility.
Absolutely. And the platform itself, where users actually experienced all this, that was Spatial.io,
Right.
which is this cutting-edge web-based platform designed for exactly these kind of immersive 3D virtual environments. It works across pretty much all devices and lets people interact in real time in these shared digital spaces.
Okay, so the tech stack made it possible. Now, how did they translate all that great design and tech into the actual user experience, making it flow from game to potential purchase?
Yeah, the user journey was key. They couldn't just drop people into a shop.
Right, it had to feel smooth.
They really thought through the flow. For instance, how you enter the Commerce Hub, the entry and episode portals.
The doorways, basically.
Yeah, but designed thoughtfully. They used atmospheric sound, specific lighting, the architecture itself, to make entering feel like a natural continuation from Milo's rooftop journey in the game.
Creates that sense of presence you mentioned.
Exactly. And even a bit of accomplishment, like you've arrived somewhere special. And placing those portals to jump between the different episode shops, that was done strategically. So navigating felt intuitive.
So no confusing menus, just walk through a portal. What about actually looking for products? Not just a grid of items, I assume.
Definitely not. They used what they called spatial exploration and gentle guides.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means they designed pathways and little discovery zones that actually encouraged you to move around and explore. You weren't just clicking on pictures.
More interactive.
Yeah. And they had these little collectibles, Walmart Sparks, that you could gather. These would subtly guide you towards featured areas or brand displays, rewarding curiosity.
That's clever. A gentle nudge instead of a hard sell.
Precisely. And for the product discovery itself, actually seeing the items.
How did they weave those in without it feeling like an ad break?
They created these contextual zones. So the products displayed were often linked back to moments or themes from the game's narrative.
Reinforcing the story.
Right. Introducing the real-world items from the featured brands. A dozen cousins, Luna Magic, Young Kings, in a way that felt connected. Parts of it were even set up like a larger market bazaar, allowing space for other complementary brands too. Made discovery feel more natural, more expansive.
Okay, that makes sense. But the real magic, the thing connecting the virtual browsing to actually getting a product, must have been the Walmart API integration.
Absolutely critical. That was the linchpin.
How did that work seamlessly within the 3D space?
Well, first, it allowed for real-time product info.
So, clicking on a virtual product.
Exactly. You get instant access to up-to-date details, descriptions, price, importantly, availability pulled directly from Walmart's actual inventory systems.
Wow, okay, so you knew if it was actually in stock.
Right. You could explore it in 3D, spin it around, then get all the real-world info right there. They also used account integration and tracked your behavior within the space anonymously, of course, to offer personalized recommendations.
Tailored suggestions based on what you looked at.
Yeah, making the shopping feel more relevant to you as an individual.
And the final step, buying it.
That was the secure checkout. You could add items to your Walmart cart and complete the purchase right there, inside the 3D world.
Without leaving spatial at all.
Without leaving the immersive experience. Then the real-world products get shipped to your door. It creates this complete loop from virtual discovery to physical delivery.
That's truly seamless. Okay, so they built this incredible thing, innovative design, smooth tech. Did it work? What were the results? Did people actually buy stuff?
The million-dollar question, right. And the answer is a definite yes. It worked very well.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, first off, the whole Commerce Hub setup proved its value as a foundation. It established this comprehensive framework, basically a technical blueprint, and set of reusable systems that could be used for future projects.
So it wasn't just a one-off.
No, it proved the concept. And crucially, it achieved Fortune 50 validation. It showed that this kind of immersive commerce could actually meet the tough, enterprise-level requirements of a giant retailer like Walmart.
That's huge, but what about the actual sales, the conversion rates?
That's where it gets really interesting. The conversion rates, the percentage of people visiting the hub who actually bought something, they quadrupled from episode 1 to episode 3.
Quadrupled, wow. Can you break down those numbers?
Sure. So for Milo's episode 1, they had about 730,000 visits to the game experience, which led to 18,000 visits to the Commerce Hub. The conversion rate there was 2.47%.
Okay, 2.47%.
Then for Raya's episode 2, game visits were around 329,000. Hub visits were similar at 18,200, but the conversion rate jumped to 5.53%.
More than double.
Yeah. And then for Jabari's episode 3, this was the peak. Around 390,000 game visits resulted in 42,000 hub visits.
That's a big jump in hub visits, too.
Right, and the conversion rate hit 10.77%.
Over 10%. That's impressive for any kind of online retail.
It really is. That was the peak performance, showing the potential.
So if you average it out across all three, what does that look like compared to, say, normal online ads?
Good question. The weighted average conversion rate across the whole thing came out to 5.4%.
5.4%?
Yeah.
How does that stack up?
That's the really compelling part. That 5.4% was almost 1.5 times higher than conversion rates you typically see from search ads.
Wow.
And get this, it was over 7 times higher than the benchmarks for typical display ads, banner ads and things like that.
7 times higher. From an experience embedded in a game.
Exactly. All happening within this narrative-native, brand-integrated 3D game world. It strongly suggests that this kind of deep immersion can really drive higher engagement and ultimately purchase intent.
That's a powerful finding. And overall reach, did many people experience it?
Yeah, the engagement was significant. Across all the episodes, the total experience views topped 1.5 million unique visits.
Over 1.5 million.
Yep, 1,527,200 to be exact, which shows substantial user interest and reach, especially for something so new on the platform.
So as we wrap this up, what's the big picture takeaway here? What does Walmart Unlimited and Propagation House's work mean for the future of retail, gaming, maybe even the internet itself?
I think it signifies a really profound shift. First, just in retail innovation. It's this clear, successful example of fusing gaming and commerce.
Where shopping isn't separate, it's part of the fun.
Exactly. Product discovery becomes part of the entertainment, blurring those lines in a way that actually works and resonates with users. It proved this isn't just some niche gimmick.
And for Walmart, it must have opened up new audience reach, right? Positioned them as innovators.
Absolutely. It established Walmart as a forward thinker in this emerging metaverse retail space. They created genuinely meaningful brand experiences that go way beyond just blasting out ads.
It feels more engaging, more two-way.
Definitely. And technically, it was a huge platform first. Like we said, the first time, in-game browsing led to real-world purchasing on spatial, and really within the whole WebGL ecosystem at this scale.
They literally paved the way.
They did. They broke new ground, and that sets a new standard, a new benchmark for how major companies, Fortune 50s, can approach digital retail going forward.
Creating a blueprint for immersive commerce.
Absolutely. It's a blueprint that's going to influence the industry for years. And you have to acknowledge the collaboration Propagation House gives a lot of credit to Walmart, Pigiama Kasama, Martian Blueberry, a dozen cousins, all the brands, and the spatial team. It took all of them.
It truly sounds like a landmark project. So just to recap, we've seen how Walmart Unlimited, with Propagation House's incredible commerce hub at its heart, didn't just, stick gaming and shopping together.
No, it was much deeper than that.
It really redefined how we can engage with brands and products, turning discovery into something you earn, making shopping feel like a natural part of the story.
Yeah, it's a fantastic case study. It shows how creative design and smart use of technology, when you really think about the user experience, can lead to results that blow traditional methods out of the water.
It really makes you think. So here's something for you, our listeners, to mull over. If shopping can become the seamless, story-driven adventure inside a game, how else will brands evolve how they show up in our digital lives? What other kinds of interactions, discoveries, ways to purchase are waiting for us as these virtual and physical worlds keep merging, not just on our screens, but inside these immersive stories?
That's the big question, isn't it? What comes next?